Hey everybody, this is Jim at SP500chart.com. It's 8 o'clock on 12/12/12. And just out of curiosity, where were you today at 12/12/12/12/12? And something like this isn't going to happen again for a while. So enjoy 12/12/12 while you can, because the next one we have, well, you figure it out, because I don't want to have to. So look, before we get started with our chart analysis, I just want to remind you that SP500chart.com and this video are for educational purposes only, and nothing stated at the site or in this video is intended to be used as investment advice. I can draw lines on charts, but you have to draw your own conclusions from your own research. And you need to make investment decisions that are suitable for your personal financial situation. I'm not a licensed financial pro. I'm just a guy who draws lines on charts. Okay, we are looking at a 30-minute chart to start with. And guys, I hope the sound is okay because my microphone has been doing something weird. So bear with it if this is scratchy. It's usually my voice, but today it could be the mic. Well, once again, starting at a 30-minute chart, we mentioned that we were expecting resistance in the mid-1430s, and the market has a willingness to get up above that level, but today, once again, it could not hold the early day move. So I guess the question is, does that mean we're dealing with a weak market, or does it mean we're dealing with a strong market that just keeps giving up some of the gains? Because here we have two higher highs on successive days and two higher lows so far on successive days. But once again, we were shown that the top rising resistance line in a ascending channel cannot be counted on to act as support when it's broken. Yesterday, we got above this line. Made a little, it really showed a little respect to that line. If we're going to look at a 3-minute chart, you can see how once we got above it, it looked like the market was respecting it for most of the day, and then it just said, no, I don't think so. So that was not any difficulty at all. Today, we gap up, and the market hits this line again, says, I can't get over it, let's go sideways. Midday, let's try it again. This time, success. Then we make a little sideways action here that if you want to get real picky about patterns and stuff, you could even say this is a tiny little head and shoulders, just like you could say this here. And then it broke down, came back into the channel, came back up to that line, where this time, because it's an ascending line, you would expect it to be resistance. So basically, we're seeing that this line is giving up ground pretty easily when the S&P comes back to test it. It's not too much difficulty for the S&P to come back into this channel area. And interestingly enough, it's also gotten above that line fairly easily. But the deal is, the rule is, when an ascending line, when broken, ascending resistance line, when broken, does not really turn into support. And we saw the same thing with our descending channel back here in mid-November. We were in this channel, it broke down. Well, not much trouble coming back, and as a matter of fact, that sort of was something of a hint that perhaps this was going to touch off a rally, because this looked like some panic selling, for what it's worth. I mean, as much as you can panic at this day in the market. So going forward, guys, we're really kind of looking at the same thing that we were looking at yesterday, because once again we're back in this channel. We want to wait and see if this bottom line gets tested, and if it does, will it hold? If it does not hold, then I would expect to come down and potentially try maybe some support here in the mid 14 teens, but really more likely to find some support a little under 1410, around that 1408 area. And if that were to give way, then I would look for this neckline in the low to mid 1390s to be support. But right now, what I'm seeing is the potential for us to be forming another inverted head and shoulders. And this one, this would be the where the head starts. This would be the head. This would be the left shoulder. So my question is, at this point, tell you what, I'm going to kill this line. We're going to redraw it. The question becomes, if this is a head and shoulders, is this the left shoulder, the head, and this is a little short right shoulder? Or would we be forming the left shoulder, head, and then a right shoulder? I think that's not an easy call to make. But for that reason, because this is a possibility, and already this line has served as support once, as we see, actually what happened yesterday. Hold on. Let me get in just a little bit closer. No, I take it back. If this is where our neckline is, and this is an inverted head and shoulders, then we have not come back for a neckline test yet. This was my little trend line that I saw there, and it looked like a candle, but it is not. It's close to there, but not quite. So we kind of have a decision to make here with regards to this pattern. Will this be the neckline, and we are looking at a yet to complete inverted head and shoulders pattern? Or are we looking at this as a neckline, and we have a completed pattern with a breakout? I think I would probably watch this channel, quite frankly, because if this is an inverted head and shoulders, then this channel should continue to work for a while. And if that's the case, then this market is in fairly good shape. As a matter of fact, we would have a target from this pattern of roughly 1514 or so. You can see I've measured that a couple times. But I'm not quite comfortable with the idea that this would be the neckline right now. Let's keep this in mind. Let's look at this 1436, 1437, mid 1430s. I think I'm going to continue to look at that as an area of resistance. And guys, if we do make a run out of this, and this is an inverted head and shoulders pattern, we're going to encounter some resistance, I think, in the 1450s. I really don't see much way to get around that. So, at any rate, I would love to see one more good dip down to the low 14 teens, mid 14 teens even. I think that would be good to pick up some more buyers and to really create some symmetry out of this pattern, and that would give me a little bit more faith and confidence in it. Now, I mentioned to you yesterday, excuse me, and the day before, how this market can be, this chart can serve as a Rorschach test, and I want to show you what I mean. We've already seen this small inverted head and shoulders down here. It has fulfilled its minimum target. We're now looking at a potential larger head and shoulders pattern that has a target in the 1500s. But if we come up to this red line and then sell back again to the mid 1400s, guys, we've got a left shoulder ahead and a right shoulder, and we're looking at a potentially even bigger inverted head and shoulders pattern that could take the market, if this would be true and if it is confirmed. Where would that go to? Well, this would probably be our neckline, something here. Then we could be looking at a move to close to 1600. Okay? That is one way to project what could happen. And so far, we have that left shoulder. We got the dip for the head. We'll be making another right shoulder and then go up there. Okay, so that is a bullish look. Now, what's the bearish look? Well, the bearish look is it's an even bigger pattern, and we're looking at a left shoulder, the forming of a head. And if this rally fails to do anything better than that 1470 area, then we could be looking at a left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and that would be a huge head and shoulders top, that if that neckline is broken, we're looking for a move back down into the 1200s. So this chart right now really is something of a Rorschach test. So what's the answer to this? Well, the answer is we look at smaller things. Because sometimes the smaller things will lead you to have a better understanding on what the larger things may pan out to be. So you have to kind of take the totality of the chart into consideration as you do this. But right now, I can definitely see the potential for some fairly bullish outcomes from this. And since this has been a bull market that has been running now for just under 4 years, actually it's been running for about 3 years and 8 months. You have to understand the historical implication of how long most bull runs last. Most of them last, I think, about 4.5 years. So if that's the case, this market does have, on average, more time to run. But I'm still thinking that when we come back and look at this on a monthly chart, I'm still thinking if we get up into that 1600 area, guys, you got to look at this monthly chart, and you have to draw a line here. And I think you have to say, gosh, that looks like that would be a tough nut to crack. Just for jollies, let's zoom in on it. Where does that line take us? Well, just under 1600. If we do get that inverted head and shoulders, that one that I showed you a little while ago. Let me see, what was the 30-minute chart? Let me back out here. If we do end up with this head and shoulders that I just was talking to you about, funny how the target from that, the larger one rather, the target for that would be, excuse me, just under 1600. This is, I think I have my voice is starting to give out. I have erased, there it is right there. So if this is a larger inverted head and shoulders, this would be our neckline. It could take us up to test that long-term line on the monthly chart. Again, there it is for your viewing pleasure. Guys, so that's how this can be a Rorschach test. You can look at it and say, wow, things looking hunky-dory, or you can look at it and say, no, this looks a little bit spooky. at this point in time. And you can see, having come from where we have, and how the S&P has failed on 2 occasions to get over 1600. Boy, it would be amazing if it did. It's not impossible for it to do it, but I would be surprised if there isn't some top that forms that turns this market back at such a level. So for right now, let's just kind of keep it simple. Let's try to identify channels. Let's try to identify smaller patterns, because we see that they have been working fairly well. By the way, we do have this little rising line right here. Since we are now setting a new high over the top of this line, let's change that color. This may also give us some support if we break through the bottom of this channel. So guys, I want to thank you for watching once again. Thank you for your support, for your subscription. Take care.